Vegas. I always like to end the show talking about something financial related that I can react to in real time while we over here having this conversation. So listen, we always gonna end on a positive note. We always gonna end with something financial, and we always gonna figure out how that can affect you, where you live, or whether or not you need to be making adjustments in order to get to the bag yourself. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, Teej Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Shout out to Teej for sponsoring the show. Ladies, get that Teej Hanley for your fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. We love Teej. Teej is one of the best products on the face of on the market. I use it. I would never tell you guys to get something that I don't use myself personally. Shout out to Teej Hanley for sponsoring the show. We appreciate you. Let's talk about the evolution and the rise of Las Vegas, especially considering that they now have the Super Bowl going into Las Vegas. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get to it.
2023 was a record-breaking year for Las Vegas. A Formula One race, the $2.3 billion entertainment venue, the Sphere, the 67-story, $3.7 billion Fontainebleau Resort, a sold-out Adele residency. The list goes on.
Hold on, we're not going to forget Usher, baby. I went to go see Usher in 2023. That concert, it was the second best concert that I had been to, I would say, in my lifetime. It was dope. It was absolutely dope. The top concert that I've ever been to was Coldplay. I went to a Coldplay concert. The last time that they was touring in North America was at the Palace at Auburn Hills before the Pistons moved down to Little Caesars Arena in downtown Detroit. Coldplay was the best concert ever, but that Usher concert, it was popping. It was absolutely lit. I had a great time at that Usher baby concert.
And on February 11th, 2024, Las Vegas will host the biggest sporting event of the year, Super Bowl 58.
Las Vegas has changed. I think the country has changed. And I think that is all reflected in the big event that's coming here.
They're seeing it more than just the Strip now. They're seeing it as a place that is great for everything else.
38.8 million visitors spent a record-breaking $44.9 billion in 2022, a 24.7% increase from the previous record set in 2019. 2023 spending remains to be reported, but is expected to beat out the previous year because of the city's new entertainment offerings. Total visitor numbers for the year climbed to 40.8 million. But as investors pour billions into making Sin City an elite destination, some real challenges lay ahead. Real estate prices have increased by more than 40% since pre-pandemic levels.
A city that has no water availability cannot grow.
The nature of Las Vegas is very unusual.
I hear you, Astrid.
In terms of how
I hear you, babe. I was there a couple times last year,
held
too.
land in a vast ocean of federal land.
All right, we don't need all the extra music.
Executive chef Sonny Hibaj and his daughter Junie. In 2021, the family traded New York for Las Vegas after Hibaj received a business proposal to help open a restaurant. The offer changed his life.
Before this, I didn't see Junie except practically on weekends.
Is he a single father?
And your banana. I wasn't looking at leaving New York at the time. It turned into I wanted to stay in Vegas. I liked being out here in Vegas. It was a very different atmosphere than New York.
Between 2012 and 2022, Las Vegas's population increased by 18%. That's considerable when compared to an area like Los Angeles County, whose population actually decreased in the same period.
Las Vegas has grown.
Part of the reason that it decreases is that a lot of people over there in California and Los Angeles is actually moving over to Vegas, so they're making their main residence Vegas. Because guess what? There are no taxes. There are no state income taxes. So Vegas is literally a visitor's destination because they get so much tourism. And you're incentivized to move there if you're closer to it. If you're over there in, well, not Arizona, but if you're over in California, a lot of people over in California went and sold their house and then they bought homes over in Las Vegas or in Henderson or somewhere close to Las Vegas.
Growth and development have been not just remarkable, but exponential. The census of 1900
That's true, Astrid. They're going to talk
showed
about
a population here of about 30. The population doubled or almost doubled with every census of the 20th century.
In 1931, Nevada became the first state to legalize gambling, transforming Las Vegas from a mining town to a gambling mecca. Throughout the following decades, organized crime took control of most casinos.
The casino was the profit center, and everything fed into it. Frank Sinatra, as great as he was so popular in Las Vegas in part because he attracted high-rolling gamblers.
After the mob was driven out in the 80s, other forms of development began to arrive, like the birth of the city's restaurant and entertainment scene. Tourists flocked as the city diversified its revenue streams beyond gambling.
I would love to, if I could go back, in time to see a lot of the different stuff that happened throughout history. One of the things that I would love to see and live through is Old Vegas. Old Vegas is I'm in love with old Vegas and styles of the 50s and back when they used to wear suits to baseball games and stuff like that. I'm fanatically obsessed with gangster movies, mob movies from back then, seeing how they used to wear their glasses and stuff like that. That's one of my biggest things that I always wanted to see.
And so did blue-collar workers.
With the expansion of buildings comes an expansion in the number of people. At one time, there was an estimate that every new hotel room created 4 to 5 jobs.
With its hundreds of casinos and nightclubs, Las Vegas has long been linked with debauchery and fun, offering everything from A-list DJs and singers to comedians, magicians, and even a modern circus. But over the past few years, the city turned to something new, going from 0 professional sports teams to becoming a sports haven. The $500 million gamble on the Formula One race in November 2023 brought in $1.2 billion to the area. The race will return in 2024. In 2020, NFL team the Raiders relocated into the brand new $2 billion Allegiant Stadium.
Has anybody seen Allegiant Stadium, or have y'all driven by there? Have anybody actually flown into Vegas and went to a game there? It is one of the dopest stadiums that I've ever been in. I heard that the new Clippers Stadium is going to be awesome too, but Allegiant Stadium is crazy. You can see it. I usually stay at the Vdara when I go there, which is literally connected to the Aria. It's an MGM hotel, and they give it to me for free. But I usually stay at the Vdara, and you can literally see Allegiant Stadium. It is beautiful. It's all black. It's blacked out. It's sick. It's sick. Shout out to Oakland. Shout out to Oakland for losing all of their sports teams, and they all going over to Vegas. I heard that they're going to bring the Athletics over there to Vegas too. Somebody said that they was going to bring the Athletics over there to Vegas. Is that true? That's one of the reasons why they're clearing out that side of the strip, is that the Oakland A's is actually going to be playing out there in Vegas also. It's interesting.
An investment that's seen the biggest return. The total economic impact generated by 1.52 million incremental visitors exceeded $2.29 billion, including $128 million in tax revenue in 2023.
Having the sports industry here changes the brand of our city, opens it up for future growth, and really puts us on a track for prosperity.
Other sports additions have paid off in other ways, like championships. The $500 million NHL expansion team, the Golden Knights, won the Stanley Cup in 2023. WNBA team, the Las Vegas Aces, won back-to-back titles in 2020.
Now, this is the one sports team that I could tell you that nobody is checking for. We're not tripping off the Las Vegas Aces. No matter, look. I don't know nobody that went to Vegas. I was supposed to be in Vegas in December for the NBA's first in-season tournament or whatever like that is. But nobody is going to Vegas to see the Las Vegas Aces. I know people that live in Vegas, and they don't even go see the Aces. So you can leave that team out of it. I know that they got to have diversity, equity, and inclusion, so they include a women's team in there too. But y'all can have the Aces. We gonna keep the hockey team. We gonna keep the football team. We'll have the baseball team. I heard that they trying to expand over to Vegas for a basketball team. That's one of the things that LeBron James possibly is angling for. But we'll get there.
And 2023.
Typically, about 25% of the population is not interested in coming to Las Vegas. But when you add their sports team, they think differently about it.
2023 numbers remain to be seen, but in 2022, sporting events generated $1.8 billion in economic activity from out-of-town visitors to Vegas. On February 11th, 2024, Las Vegas will become the center of the U.S. sporting world when it hosts Super Bowl 58, a hefty expense at $60 million.
What hosting a Super Bowl means is that, first of all, the NFL has accepted that Las Vegas is a suitable place. About 20 years ago, our Convention and Visitors Authority tried to buy ad time on the Super Bowl, and the NFL rejected it.
The event is expected to draw 330,000 people and bring in $700 million to the city.
It is an opportunity for us to show off, and Allegiant Stadium has been a game changer because of that.
But it's not only sports, and not everything is paying off, at least not right away. The Sphere reported a $100 million loss in its first earnings. Over the years, Las Vegas has become a notable culinary destination, boasting celebrity chefs and Michelin stars while catering to both
some
the
of them celebrity restaurants is trash. If y'all go to any buffet, just go to the Wynn. The Wynn got the best buffet in Vegas, by far. I done been to Vegas dozens of times. The Wynn has the best buffet in Vegas. Don't worry about going to Gordon Ramsay. Don't worry about going under that trash. Don't worry about these celebrity places, whatever that. Just go to the Wynn, to their buffet. And other than that, I have not experienced Vegas as a culinary destination, but it's just big names. That's it.
And the high rolling.
Everyone's going to be working, putting in their extra hours, making sure we take care of everyone we can and giving them the best experience because we want them to come back as soon as possible.
For Hebaj, the decision to move is marked by a lot of pros, like a shorter commute.
Don't go to Hell's Kitchen, bro.
Take her to school every morning, get home sometimes before she's asleep. So I'll see her both morning and night.
A lower cost of living is another one. The Las Vegas metro area topped real estate company Redfin's list as the most popular destination for relocating homebuyers in 2023. The median home price for the area is $424,000, which is attractive when comparing that of Los Angeles, where most new residents are coming from, or New York, where Hebaj moved from. The average home in Miami, Florida, which is often compared with this city, sells for $150,000 more than in Las Vegas. Job opportunities are another pro. While Las Vegas's unemployment rate is above the national average, it's at a pre-pandemic low. In 2023, it was one of the top metro areas with the greatest positive changes in employment for the year.
But that's a white lie, and let me tell y'all why employment in Vegas is a white lie. We went over this in Stock Club from a stock perspective as far as the hospitality industry. I've been to Bellagio's also. I like the Wynn's better. That's just me personally. I think that the Wynn got the best one in Vegas, the best buffet in Vegas. But let me tell y'all why that's a white lie, because anytime that there's a slowdown in the economy, if there's a pandemic, if there's a recession, if people start to pull back, one of the biggest hit places, if not the biggest hit place, is Las Vegas. We go over this in Stock Club. I broke down stocks of why I don't invest in certain hospitality stocks, why I don't invest in casino stocks. Well, I showed them the liabilities versus exactly how much assets that they have, the type of revenue that they have, the margins, whether or not they're profitable, why they have to take out more money, how they were affected by the cybersecurity effect thing that hit. Whenever you have to deal with tourism and hospitality, it is a deceiving number because the number doesn't actually show you whether or not people are having good jobs or how much they're generating. They'll just say, oh, unemployment is low because people got to work. But that doesn't mean that it's an ideal job. It's interdependent on tourism. It's seasonal. You know, it's a lot of hotel jobs and casino jobs and stuff, but those don't necessarily pay great money or anything like that. And so when you see things slow down or anything happen, the hardest hit, and they try to forget about it because they didn't throw in another event in order to boost it back up. You got CES, that's a part of Vegas. Tesla's building underground tunnels, Allegiant Stadium. People drive in and they fly in order to drop money or whatever. So it's a tourist destination. So it could lead you to believe that it's popping there. It's a lot of money for you, but it's not. It's absolutely not. There is not a lot of money when it comes to generating revenue unless you have a specific business that you can leverage over in Vegas or you're trying to do it for tax purposes. Most people shouldn't be living in Vegas. They got water problems. It's a desert. It's literally a desert that they made out of anything to support tourism when it comes to the gambling industry. And so don't think for 1 second that Vegas is an ideal space that you want to go to as far as moving to because it's jobs there. It's not.
Its proximity to national parks and a national hub like Los Angeles adds another appeal. But the state's tax laws are one of its biggest draws. Nevada lacks a state income tax, does not tax its businesses, and the property taxes it does require are low.
Las Vegas has a low operating cost. When you look at your net income, every piece of overhead expense is a big deal. So Las Vegas just wins against most states.
Las Vegas is the leading destination for California businesses looking to relocate, with over 2,000 moving to Sin City between 1990 and 2019. Hollywood studios have flirted with the idea of moving there as well. The existing Nevada film tax credit is worth $15 million per year. On top of that, many tech companies are expanding their reach in Las Vegas, like Google, who doubled its initial $600 million investment in a data center by adding another $600 million in 2020.
I think that Las Vegas is changing in the sense that if you are looking for a well-paying high-tech job, we're having more of them. This is the center of the world for gaming and tourism. There are a lot of opportunities in that industry that include tech jobs.
Las Vegas has become globally renowned as a top shopping destination, from luxury shops to centers and outlets, but not without some major work.
Nordstrom wouldn't look at moving to a city until we got to 750,000 people. Neiman Marcus wouldn't look at a city until we got to 1 million people. Virtually every building you see out there.
They say it's a top shopping destination, but it's not. You better off going to New York or you better off going to Miami, to be honest with you. If you go to Miami in a design district, you're going to get every single name and every single shop that you can go to. You're going to get Gucci, Off-White, Prada, Dior. Christian Dior got 2 stores, I think 3 stores. Louis Vuitton got a men's store that's separate from the women's store. Tom Ford is right there in the design district over in Vegas, and it's right next to Midtown where I stay at most of the time. Right next to Wynwood. It's right in the middle of anything. If you actually want to look for a shopping destination, and Miami is actually fairly cheap for you to get into because you can fly into both. You can either fly into Fort Lauderdale or you can fly into Miami specifically, and Fort Lauderdale is only like 40 to 45 minutes, depending on traffic of you getting down into Miami. It's actually way better. So, when you're talking about a shopping destination, all of the stores is way far apart. When you walk from hotel to hotel on the Strip in Vegas, it's a long walk. I'm telling you. Trust me. I've walked it all. I've caught the bus. I've taken Ubers. I've rented the car. I've done all of it, all right? Anything that you could possibly do in Vegas except for get finessed and trick off some chicks is outside of that, I've done it all over in Vegas.
Windows wasn't here in the early 90s.
Still, amidst the excitement and newness, there are a few drawbacks for Hebaj, like being away from his 2 older children back in New York, or the limited natural resources.
We don't have a lot of water. We're in the desert. We also don't have tuna swimming in the sea next to us, and we don't have great farms. So things are brought into here, flown in, driven in, etc.
This area didn't exist 10 years ago. I mean, there wasn't much here.
Look at this, a
Las Vegas has
desert.
so little land left, but there's construction everywhere.
Real estate investor and consultant Eric Fernwood has spent more than a decade in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas has a tremendous land shortage, and based on that, you have a situation where you have an ever-increasing population bidding on a fixed supply. That's what attracted me.
More than 80% of the land in Nevada is federally owned, and in Clark County, that number is even higher. Las Vegas can refer to the Las Vegas Valley, the Las Vegas Strip, or the city itself. They all lie within Clark County. Despite having a Las Vegas zip code, the Vegas Strip isn't located within Las Vegas city.
And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't realize that the Strip is not actually in the city of Las Vegas. It's not. It's kind of like its own zip code, but the Strip is its own industry. But when you go into the city of Las Vegas, like when you go into downtown Vegas, it's actually like the Strip can lead into downtown Vegas, but the Strip is not actually Las Vegas. It's not the city of Las Vegas itself. Now, if you're going down to the D, Golden Nugget, all of that type of stuff, which I don't ever stay there. Like I said, I always stay at the Badara. And I could catch an Uber or, just do something like that in order to get over there, in order to party or whatever downtown. And the new one with the big old pool in it. I forgot what the name of that was over there. But they got all of that over there in downtown Vegas. It's completely different.
Limits. It's split between the unincorporated towns of Paradise and Winchester.
Correct.
Las Vegas has its city limits that stop at the beginning of the Strip, Sahara Avenue. Casino operators intentionally were outside the city. They didn't want to deal with city taxes and fees. Technically, when you're on the Strip, you are literally in paradise. Paradise Township.
Excluding the Strip, Las Vegas has sprawled development outwards rather than upwards, eating up the limited public land.
The result is that land is very expensive here.
Hebaj experienced this firsthand when buying his home in 2022.
We had to overbid for this house to buy it. And that was the situation all throughout Vegas. And even now, it seems like there's a tight grip on the housing market.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstance, overbid on a house or a property. We've seen that happen during the pandemic. Never, ever overbid on a house or a property in order to buy it. They are throwing up these cookie cutter homes over in Vegas, and every single house and every development look the exact same. It looks the exact same. They look just like that. And obviously you can get them smaller or bigger or whatever, unless you Floyd Mayweather or whatever. But they all look like that. They all look cookie cutter. They all stucco. You know, ain't no brick over in Vegas. All of their food and everything is flown in, right? Because it's, like I said, it's a desert. And a lot of people say, hey, the best time to go to Vegas is in the wintertime. Man, it be cold in Vegas. It be getting to like 30 and 40 degrees down in Vegas sometimes because it's a desert and it's extremes on both sides. It's extremes on both sides. So I would never move to Vegas. I had some people that I knew that was thinking about it. I would never personally move to Vegas. The only thing that I could see justifiably moving to Vegas for is if you're really out there for a business opportunity or you coming over from Los Angeles and you don't want to pay taxes. Real talk. I would never actually move over to Vegas.
But what may be a struggle for home buyers and renters is, of course, an asset for investors.
We have maybe 180, 190 clients, and our repeat business rate is in the high 90%.
Let me see if I can get over
they continually
to
buy
another
properties.
I want to see what
in December
problems
2023, home prices rose 11%.
Look at that. It's just a basic house. It's just a square.
Dry desert, like Las Vegas in the Mojave Desert.
Water scarcity is a constant battle in desert cities like Las Vegas, Palm Springs, Phoenix, Cairo, and Dubai. Luckily, Las Vegas manages it more efficiently than others. Southern Nevada is one of the few places on Earth that recycles all indoor water on a community-wide scale at a staggering rate of 99%. Hotels like the Bellagio have their own wells, and recent legislation targeting new residential and commercial development limits the size of pools and bans the installation of grass.
There is a risk if we continue to have out of control rapid growth for the next 20, 30 years. The next 10 years are probably safe, but at some point it gets really serious.
Still, ongoing drought and climate change conditions continue to affect the region's water sources.
If you fly over, when you flying over Vegas, and you can look, you know, when you're looking down and you seeing everything and all of the different valleys and waters, you can see this. You can see like the lines of the waters that's lined up against, or what the water used to be against certain, you know what I'm saying, valleys or rivers or whatever it is that you want to call them. You can see where the water levels used to be. And now you look at them and they're way down. Way down. The water don't even taste the same over in Vegas. The meat don't taste the same over in Vegas. Like if you going to Vegas, you going to basically party. You going to party to Vegas and you going home. Vegas is a tourist destination for me. I could never see myself ever living in Vegas, ever. Ever living in Vegas. Even the people that be taking you there, the Uber drivers and stuff like that.
But water isn't the only climate issue plaguing the area. Las Vegas is one of the fastest warming cities in the US. The region faces something called the urban heat island effect, which is where a city absorbs and traps the sun's radiation, and in return can't cool down.
The city becomes like a baking oven. And to avoid this, we must have the right materials, the right reflective colors. White buildings obviously are much better than black buildings.
There's a theory that the state symbol should be the orange traffic cone. We often are not doing enough to stop and think about what the development should be and what it needs.
As the Las Vegas suburbs have developed, many have followed an urban sprawl model. Experts urge the city to become more walkable, which would decrease pollution and help manage more space for the growing population.
We don't have continuous shade that makes
Americans like cars. Dog, I was in Vegas one time during the pandemic. It was actually during the pandemic I had went to Vegas. And the temperature was like 114 degrees. I was like, this is crazy. It was like 114 degrees in Vegas. I said, you went outside and you just said, it was dry heat. It wasn't like the muggy heat or nothing like that, but it was 114 degrees outside. I said, this is crazy, bro.
walking, pleasant, and safe. And all year long, the city needs to be more compact, but also mixed use.
Separately, the city's expanding event and attraction scene raises a crucial question. Is the existing workforce equipped to manage the increased workload?
Yeah, we don't care about all of the rest of that stuff. But Vegas is, I think that they're going to obviously continue to grow because anytime you have a tourist destination, you're going to do well over in Vegas. It's going to be a great city, and they're going to generate a lot of revenue. But in the meantime, don't move to Vegas. I'm telling all my chasers, if you're not already there, don't move to Vegas. It is not a place that you're going to want to go to long term in order to raise your family. Most people that live there say that they only live there because of their work or what it is that they do for a living, but they do not want to stay there. And it get hot and it gets super cold. There's better places to live. We always can just fly in and go and visit, but it's a place of extremes, and I don't think that it's a place that you would ever want to raise your kids in.